All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update, and this will be the first of two DC updates today. And this one is all devoted to Zack Snyder and two big stories that came out over the last 24 hours. And this is very interesting. And for anybody who... Now, first of all, what I'm going to point out before I show you what I'm going to show you, it's funny how everyone will come back and say Zack is not interested in finishing the Snyderverse, but everything he says and talks about proves otherwise. And we're going to look at two interesting things today. First, let's take a look here. So let me share my screen. So the first thing I wanted to look at here is this exclusive to Empire magazine. And it says, Zack Snyder explains the scrapped Wonder Woman, not 19, but 1854 story. It was never a screenplay, but we talked about it so much that it kind of had its own life, he tells Empire. And let's take a look at this article. So here we go. Zack Snyder explains scrapped Wonder Woman 1854 story. It goes on to say that throughout the course of the DCEU, we saw Wonder Woman in a variety of environments. In her native home of Themyscira with the Amazons, fighting through the battlefields of World War I with Steve Trevor, living in 1980s USA in Wonder Woman 1984, and battling alongside Batman and Superman in the present day in Justice League. But once upon a time, there was an idea to present a different kind of early Wonder Woman story. One that would have seen her fighting in the Crimean War in the 1800s. All that came of the possible project, dubbed Wonder Woman 1854, was an image that Snyder shared on social media with Gal Gadot's Diana Prince surrounded by soldiers and holding several severed heads. In Empire's major new interview with Snyder, the Acolyte issue, we posed him your reader questions, and among them came up the topic of Wonder Woman 1854 and what it might have been. Allow Snyder himself to explain. The idea of that was an early riff we were doing. Once Wonder Woman left the island in search of Ares, what happened to her in different incarnations, he states. My idea for it was that she would travel around the world looking for Ares, and she would go to every place where there was conflict. And here's the original post where he posted this, and this is a phenomenal picture. It gives you that real old world look to it. It just looks very genuine. And yeah, it's too bad we didn't get this. Goes on to say, the resulting story would have been a combination of love and war. On those battlefields, she found these lovers, warriors, and they would age out because she is immortal, he elaborates. They would be her lover for 10 years or they might die in battle. And it was probably sad for a lot of the guys because they would see her starting to be nice to the next young soldier and be like, oh, I'm being replaced. But all the guys that she had with her were those loyal warriors she found on the battlefields all over the world. Ultimately, the story would have led Diana to Chris Prince's Steve Trevor. We talked about if Steve Trevor was there in Crimea, Snyder confirms. Instead, Wonder Woman's journey through the Snyderverse took another path. But that one shot from Steven Berkman remained. It was never a screenplay, but we talked about it so much that it kind of had its own life. There you have it. Wonder no more. And you can read the full Zack Snyder interview in that issue, the Acolyte issue, which is pretty funny that they're talking a lot about Zack Snyder here himself. Yeah, but this photo is still one of those things that, wow, people really wish we could have gotten the story behind this. So I have two other photos to show you here, and then we're going to talk about this. And this, again, comes from Empire magazine. And it says, Zack Snyder on if he'd be open to finishing his Justice League trilogy in animated form. Yes, absolutely. That'd be fun. That'd be cool. Now, if they did the animation right, this could be cool, but I don't think a lot of people would be satisfied with that. I would not. I want to see those actual characters come back. And if they did do animated, if they did make it animated, I would hope that they would use the original actors' voices. So here's someone else posting on this. It's giving faith, Alvord. Faith. Zack Snyder says he would absolutely love to complete his Justice League Snyderverse trilogy in animated form in an interview with Empire magazine. That'd be fun. The decision would be up to James Gunn. All right, so what does this mean? First of all, some people are going to say, well, these were just questions that he was asked in an interview and he was being nice answering them. First of all, when you go into an interview, you usually preview those questions and you won't answer ones that you don't want to answer. That's usually how those agreements work when you go in for an interview. So these were pre-chosen questions. Now, let's say they're not. Whether they were or weren't predetermined, then he's giving honest answers here, and he is interested in finishing that story. He has never said he is done with this story or that he's not interested in finishing it. There are those out there who will keep saying that, yes, he's done, he's moved on, but yet everything he says out in public and in these interviews shows otherwise. So I am hoping that we get a conclusion to his universe, and I think it would be incredibly ignorant for Warner Brothers not to see the interest in this and to understand that you have pissed off an entire fan base that paid for these movies for 10 years. And if you don't mend those bridges, you are going to have trouble in the future getting those people into those theater seats. It's just a fact of what has happened. You can say otherwise. People were going to come in and say, Zack Snyder destroyed it with Batman versus Superman, yet people still came for the next 3 to 4 years. And you're going to see all these people come out with their hate, and it's not justified. There is nothing that backs up their points. The fact is, Zack Snyder would continue this if given the chance, and it's all up to James Gunn. Now, personally, I don't think James Gunn is going to do that. He doesn't want anybody upstaging him. That is very clear. It's who James Gunn is. It's how he operates. And so I don't think he's ever going to allow that to happen. Same with David Ayer's Suicide Squad. I just think he wants to focus on his thing, and Superman is their one shot to make this work. And if it doesn't work, they're going to be in big, big trouble. All right, guys, I will be back with more DC information later today. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.